Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel Qubit Educational Services. This video is going to be in continuation with our previous video where we solved around 15 MCQs of the topic mathematical logic from previous year's question papers of the MHT CET. Okay, so that was part 1, this is part 2. So even in this video we will be solving 15 MCQs covering the entire chapter of mathematical logic. So let us start. Question number 1. The output of the following circuit is P, Q, negation P, and when they say plus, it is always P or Q, and when they say dot or into, it is always P and Q. Okay. Now in this circuit there is no need to even draw the truth table for this, because if you look at the first part of the circuit, okay, there you have P and negation P in parallel combination. Okay, so if one switch is off, the other switch is always going to be on. Okay, so P or negation P is always true, we know that. And then we have P or negation P and Q. See, that is as good as saying T and Q, but T and Q is always equivalent to Q. So the output of the following circuit will depend on the position of the switch Q, hence the correct option is B. Question number 2, another question on principle of duality. Okay, now as I told you in our previous sum, this addition corresponds to OR and multiplication corresponds to AND. Okay, and prime corresponds to the negation. Okay, 0 corresponds to contradiction or fallacy, and 1 corresponds to tautology. Okay, now they are saying dual of x plus y, or let me put it in this way, x or y, and when they don't have anything you assume that it is dot. Okay, then in the next bracket you have x prime or negation x and tautology. Okay, now to write the dual you should replace OR by AND. Yes, you should replace AND by OR. Okay, so let me write AND here. Okay, you have to keep negation x as it is. Yes, this AND gets replaced by OR, tautology gets replaced by contradiction. Okay, so what will the dual be? X dot y, okay, plus negation x, or let's say x dot x prime, plus 0. Okay, and do we have it anywhere? No. See, now all what they have given is everywhere you have tautologies as tautologies. Okay, so they have not really replaced the tautology by the contradiction or by the fallacy, and hence the correct option is none of these. Correct? Otherwise a very simple MCQ. Question number 3. If PQR are single propositions or atomic propositions with truth values T, F and F, so we have PQR and TFF. Okay, then they are saying the truth value of P and negation Q and negation P or R is. Okay, so first we will write down the truth values of negation Q and negation P. P is true, so negation Q must be false. Q is false, so negation Q must be true. Now we have P and negation Q. Now observe that P is true, and negation q is also true, so p and negation q must be true. Let's now go to the second compound proposition, that is negation p or r. Now r is false and negation p is also false, so the truth value of negation p or r is false. Okay, and then we have a true statement, that is p and negation q, implying a false statement. So what must be the truth value of this conditional statement? It must be false. Correct, because the first proposition is true, but the second proposition is false. Correct. So we know that in a conditional statement p implies q, whenever p is true but q is false, the conditional is false. So what is the truth value? False, or B. Okay, that is question 3. Question 4. P and Q or negation P is equivalent to. Okay, first we will use the commutative law and say that it is negation P or P and Q. And now let us use the distributive law. So it will be negation P or P and negation P or Q. Okay, now see, negation P or P is always going to be a tautology. That is what we used in our first sum in the circuit problem. Okay, and yes, so it is tautology and negation P or Q, and we also now know that tautology and any proposition is always that proposition. So it is option B. And now you can notice the similarity between questions 1 and 4. In question 4 we have got P and Q or negation P, okay, and which is logically equivalent to this, and even here we have got a similar thing. Okay, we got a tautology and another proposition, and that is always equal to the other proposition. Okay, so that was question number 4. Let's go to 5 now. Okay, question number 5. Simplify the Boolean function or this compound proposition x and y or bracket first bracket x or negation y and y, and see now this hash means or prime, it actually means you will again take the negation of this entire proposition. Now one way to solve this problem is to prepare the truth table, okay, and to find out what that truth column is and whether it includes all f's, all t's, or whether it is a truth column matching that of x or y, or whether it is a truth column matching x and y. Okay, and the second one would be to make use of the laws of the logic. So let us try the truth table method and see what we get. So x, y, t, t, f, f, t, f, t, f, then x and y will be t, f, 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 then we have got negation y, f, t, f, t, then x or negation y. Now x or negation y will be false there in the third row, and everywhere else it will be true. Yeah, sorry, false. X or negation y is over now. Now we need to take this particular proposition in conjunction with y. Okay, so what will that be? That will be T F F F, correct? For in the first row both are true, in the second row y is false, in the third row XOR negation y is false, and in the fourth row y is false. Okay, and now let us take the negation of this particular proposition. So all we will be required to do is to change the truth values, basically f t t t. Okay, and then we have got x and y or that. See, now x and y is true in the first row, and in this for this proposition it is the truth value is false. Okay, but because we are taking the disjunction, it must be true. Yes, and now it doesn't matter what truth value x and y has. Okay, because this is always true, the other proposition, it's going to be t t t t. What does it mean? It means the Boolean function is a tautology or 1. So that is option B. Okay, now you can also solve this problem with the help of laws of logic. So let's quickly do that as well. We will first write down the given proposition, which is x and y or negation of x or negation y and y. Okay, now let's keep x and y as it is, or now let us apply the De Morgan's law. Okay, so it will be negation of x or negation y or negation y. Okay, by De Morgan's law. So this is now x and y. Okay, or now again apply the De Morgan's law for this proposition. So what will it be? It will be equal to negation x and negation of negation y is y. Okay, or negation y. So again De Morgan's law. Now we can apply the distributive law. Okay, where we can apply the distributive law for the first two propositions here. Okay, so here we are having x. Okay, no, it should be y, right? Yes, so it is y and x or negation x, is it right? Y and x or y and negation x. So here we are using distributive law and commutative law. Okay, so first I have used the commutative law to reverse the order, and then I have applied the distributive law. Okay, and then you have to keep this negation y as it is. Now x or negation x is always going to be a tautology. So it is y and tautology or negation y. Okay, y and tautology is y, so it is y or negation y, but y or negation y is always true or a tautology, and hence the function is always true or always takes the truth value 1 or true. So we got the same result using truth table analysis as well as by the laws of logic, and in the examination whichever method is convenient to you, you apply that, and most of the students will actually go with the truth table method. Okay, so that was question 5. We have now solved it by both the methods. Let's go to the next one. Question 6. The proposition P implies negation P and negation P implies P is. Okay, now there is no need to use the laws of logic now. We can just construct the truth table because there is only one atomic proposition here, that is P. Okay, so TF negation P is FT. P implies negation P. First one will be false, second one will be true. Okay, see now what does it mean? It means negation P is actually logically equivalent to P implies negation P. Okay, so that is the additional result that we have got as a part of this sum, because both have the same truth columns, FT and FT. Then let's go to negation P implies P. Now for negation P implies P, first it will be false, and second, negation P implies, okay, yeah, first it will be true, yes. I think I did not say it correctly, but I wrote it as true, yes. Negation P implies P true, but negation P implies P in the second case will be false. Okay, so negation P implies P is logically equivalent to P because they have the same or identical truth columns, TF, TF. Okay, see now it is not very difficult to get the answer. When you take the conjunction of these two propositions, which are essentially negations of each other, you are going to get false. Okay, and when you take the disjunction, then it is going to be true. Okay, so the given proposition is a contradiction and its negation is a tautology. Oh, well, sorry, not its negation, I should say. When you take the disjunction of the composite statement, okay, instead of conjunction, if you take the disjunction, then you will get tautology. Okay, a simple problem. See now, why did we not take the help of the laws of the logic in this case? Because there was only one atomic proposition. Usually we have at least two, P, Q, and sometimes even the third one. So greater the number of propositions, less convenient is the method of truth tables. So if you have only one proposition, always go with the truth table method. That is going to take you towards the answer fairly quickly. Question 7. The inverse of the proposition P and negation Q implies RS. Okay, now you can expect a question in the CET based on inverse, converse and contrapositive of a conditional. Okay, so what is the inverse of P implies Q? The inverse is negation P implies negation Q. Okay, the converse is Q implies P, and the contrapositive is negation Q implies negation P, and this is the original conditional statement. Now they are asking the inverse of this proposition, so what will it be? For inverse, you should take the negation of the first, and you should also take the negation of the second. Now because the conditional is not commutative, that is P implies Q is not necessarily equivalent to Q implies P, we know that options A and C are not going to be the right options because they don't have negation R as the second proposition. Okay, so it is either B or none of these. So we will now simplify this by the application of the De Morgan's law. It will be P or negation of negation Q is Q. Oh sorry, it's negation Q. The negation applies to both the propositions. So it is negation P or negation of negation Q, that is Q. So it is negation P or Q implies negation R, that is option B. Okay, see, it means if you know what these things are, inverse, converse and contrapositive of a conditional statement, and in addition to that, if you know the laws of the logic, in particular De Morgan's law, as far as this problem is concerned, then you can solve this question within 30 seconds. Okay, now as I said earlier, most of you know this very well. Okay, but when it comes to the laws of logic, then I don't know why, but there seems to be some problem. So get used to the laws of logic as soon as you can. Okay, particularly the De Morgan's law and the distributive law. If you know these two laws and how to apply them the other way as well, then I think there should not be a very big problem to you. Okay, so that was question 7. Let's go to the 8th one. In a Boolean algebra B, for all x, y in B, x and x or y is equal to a very simple question on the distributive law. So it will be x and x or x and y. Now x and x is as good as x. Okay, x or x and y. See, that means the application of distributive law has not given us any conclusive result. Okay, so let's prepare the truth table. Now for x or y it is TTTF, and for x it is TTFF. Okay, so x and x or y will be TTFF. So that is actually equivalent to x, right? TTFF, TTFF. So the given Boolean polynomial or given Boolean function is logically equivalent to or equal to x. See, now how can you save time in the CD? You can save time by not writing this. Okay, well, you know that these are standard arrangements now, TTFF, TF, TF. Okay, so we directly went for x or y and then its conjunction with x. Okay, and we found out that these two truth columns are actually, well, the truth column of this one and that of x, they're identical. So that led us to the conclusion that it is equivalent to x. Now see, if we had got the truth column of x and x or y as TF, TF, then we would have gone for option A, that is y. Okay, so that is question 8. See, in question 8, the particular or I should say the speciality of question 8 is that if you keep on applying the laws of logic, particularly the distributive law, then it is just going to create a loop, okay, from this to this and then again from this to this. So application of the distributive law does not lead to the conclusion. Okay, so in that case what you have to do is you have to rely on the truth table method. Okay, that was question 8. Let's go to 9. Okay, for the circuit shown below, the Boolean polynomial is, well, I think you can do it very easily. First branch, negation P, Q in series. Then you have got these two arrangements in parallel, right? So it must be a disjunction. And what's there in the second branch? P and negation Q. Yes, so it is negation P and Q or P and negation Q. I think it is option D, right? Negation P and Q or P and negation Q. A very simple MCQ. Alright, that was 9th. Let's go to 10th. See, now what you can do in question 9 is, for practice, you can construct the switching circuits and tables okay, for all 4 options. Okay, that should be a good exercise. Alright, so you can do it for A, B, C, both the switching circuits and the tables, and for D you can just construct the switching table and see the pattern. Fine. Question 10. if P is the statement, every square is a rectangle. Okay, now we know that it is true. Every square is a rectangle and every rhombus is a kite. Now that is false. Okay, every rhombus may not necessarily be a kite. Now we want the truth values of P implies Q. Okay, now P implies Q will be false because P is true and Q is false. And let's now go to the biconditional. P if and only if Q. See, now there is no need to actually write it as P and Q. Sorry, P implies Q and Q implies P. Because the truth value of the biconditional is true when both P and Q are of the same truth value. And here one is true and the other one is false. So the truth value of P if and only if Q is also false. So question number 10, truth values of both the propositions are F. Let's go to 11th now. Which of the following quantified statements is true? Option A, the square of every real number is positive. Okay, see, now when they say every, they are using the universal quantifier. So even if we find one counter example, then the truth value will be false. Now students often don't understand that positive, negative, non-negative and positive are different things. Non-positive. Okay, so when they just when the problem says only positive or only negative, here they are excluding 0. Okay, because 0 is neither positive nor negative. And when they say non-negative, it actually considers both the possibilities. Okay, so non-negative includes 0 and all positive real numbers. Non-positive includes 0 and all negative real numbers. So when they say the square of every real number is positive, we should consider it to be a false statement, because the square of 0 is 0, which is neither positive nor negative. So the truth value of A is false. B, there exists a real number. Okay, so here they are using the existential quantifier. First one was the universal. There exists a real number whose square is negative. Now that is definitely false, because square of any real number, okay, is always non-negative. So it can either be 0 or greater than 0. So again false, because, well, we cannot even find a single example which satisfies that particular proposition. Let's go to C. There exists a real number whose square is non-positive. See, now that is true, whose square is not positive, and because they are not using the universal quantifier, they are using the existential quantifier, its truth value is true, because for existential quantifiers even one example is enough. Now, do you know any real number whose square is non-positive? As I pointed out earlier, non-positive includes 0. Okay, and because it includes 0, we can say that 0 squared is 0, and this is indeed a non-positive number. Okay, so the truth value of option C is true, and hence D must be false. Every real number is rational. Well, we know that it is false, because if we consider root 2 or e or pi or root 3, which are all real numbers but are irrational. So this question is entirely based on your interpretations of the propositions positive, non-positive, non-negative and non-positive, Okay, so please keep these things in mind. Non-negative includes 0 and positive real numbers. Non-positive includes 0 and negative real numbers. Okay, so that is question 11. Question 12. I think there is a misprint here. Everywhere you have S1 and S2, right? So what I will do is I'll consider this, but I will modify this slightly, okay, later. So let's first consider the problem as it is. So it has to be P and Q, okay, because it is P and Q or P and Q, but P or P is always P, so that is P and Q, so none of these. But see, now what I'll recommend you to do is you can consider 4 possibilities. Okay, the 4 possibilities are as follows. First, you can take S1 dash S2 and you can keep S1 S2 as it is. Okay, possibility 1, and I think the truth value or the simplification will lead to Q, because anyways S1 or S2, one of them will be open and the other one will be closed. Okay, so that will then boil down to the truth value of S2. Okay, possibility 2, you can keep this S1 as it is and you can make this S2 dash. Okay, so this will be P. Okay, possibility 3, you can consider S1 dash S2 dash S1 S2. Okay, now that will be worth interesting to look at. So you can take this as homework. You have to construct the truth column and the statement pattern associated with this particular switching circuit. Okay, and then you can come up with this possibility: S1 S2 dash S1 dash S2. Okay, so you can also construct the switching well, not the switching circuit, sorry, the truth column and the associated atomic or compound proposition for possibilities 3 and 4. Okay, so let me just tell you the proposition. It is going to be negation P and negation Q, or P and Q. Okay, for the third. And what will it be for the fourth? P and negation Q, or negation P and Q. Again, you have 2 options. Either you can use the truth tables to simplify, or you can use the laws of logic. Okay, so I'm giving this as homework to you. You can construct the truth tables and interpret the switching circuit and get it simpler form, or you can use the laws of logic to simplify the statement pattern and get the simplified version. So that is question 12. Let's go to 13th. Yes, 13th. The statement pattern negation P and Q is logically equivalent to. First one is P or Q or negation P. See, now this is definitely not going to be negation P and Q, because P or Q or negation P is actually T or Q, and that is Q. So A is not right. Let's go to B. In B, we can apply the De Morgan's law. First, let us write it as negation, well, not De Morgan, sorry, distributive law. Negation P and P or Q. So that will be negation P and P, or negation P and Q. Okay, see, now what is negation P and P? That is always, well, that is always false, so it is a fallacy. Or negation P and Q, and fallacy or any proposition is always the proposition itself, so negation P and Q. So did we get it? Yes. Negation P and Q, negation P and Q. So it is option B. Now just in case you don't get option B, then you have to continue with C and then with D. Okay. For practice, what you can do is you can construct the truth columns for all 5 statements. Truth columns for all 5. Which 5? 4 in the options and the first given to you in the problem, that is negation P and Q. You will find out that, or you will eventually find out that negation P and Q has a truth column which is identical to that of P or Q and negation P. So that was 13th. Question number 14. Which of the following statement patterns is a tautology? Now if you look at options B and D, you can eliminate them straight away, because P and negation P is a fallacy, and negation Q implies negation P is the contrapositive of the conditional. So none of the 4 conditional statements that we have are tautologies. All of them are contingencies. So this is also false. Well, I should not say false. I should say it is incorrect, because it is not a fallacy, right? Yes. Now what we can do is we can take option A and prepare its truth column. If it turns out that it contains all D's, then that must be the right one. Otherwise it has to be option C. Okay. So PQ, Q implies P. TTFF, TFTF, Q implies P will be false here. Everywhere else it will be, sorry, I always say false but I write true. Okay, that's false. T, T, T. Okay, and P or that. P or that true, true, false, right? Yes, and true. So this is not a tautology because it has this false truth value there. So I'll again check it carefully. Q implies P. Yes, Q implies P is false when Q is true and P is false. That is, the antecedent is true and the consequence is false. So that is false, and P or that, yes. So that is option C. We'll check it now, because we already have the truth column for Q implies P, right? Now we need to construct the truth column for negation P. FFTT. Yes. Negation P implies Q. Now negation P implies Q will be true first, then true, again true, and then in the fourth combination of Q and negation P it will be false, because negation P is true, that is the antecedent, but the consequence is false. Now Q implies negation P. Okay, for the biconditional. Yeah, actually there is no need to do biconditional at all. Yeah, okay, we know that biconditional is true when both have the same truth value, right? So even this is not necessary, but anyways, negation P if and only if Q. That means this truth column and this truth column. First one is false, then again false. Oh, okay, this will be true because both are false. True and then false. Okay, and now we need to pick the disjunction or of Q implies P and negation P implies negation Q. Okay, now because it is a disjunction, all we need to worry about is when this is false. Okay, now when this is false, observe that Q implies P is true and true. So that verifies our answer that C is indeed a tautology. So option C, yes. See, in the examination, the moment you eliminate 3 of them, it has to be the remaining option. Okay, so in the examination there is no need to do all these things, but as of now, because we are solving the problem thoroughly and discussing each and every thing, you have to, well, it will be good if you make this table there, okay, in your notebook. So that is question 14. Let's go to the last one now. That is question number 15. Question number 15 now. If C denotes the contradiction, then the dual of the compound statement negation P and Q or C is. See, its dual is a very straightforward thing to get. Negation P or Q and tautology. Okay, or by and by or. Contradictions by tautologies. Negation P or Q and T. Option A. See, now the only thing or the possibility where you may go wrong is you pick the incorrect option due to the resemblance of these expressions with one another. Okay, but what I would recommend you to do is you just start with the first one. Negation P is present in ABD, so C is ruled out. Okay, it is negation P or the other one, so and should be eliminated. Okay, and then it should not be Q and C. Okay, so that eliminates option D, and then whatever remains is the correct option. Okay, so that is option A. So now we have successfully solved all previous year's logic MCQs. There are 30 of them. In this video we have solved 15 MCQs, and in our previous video on mathematical logic we have solved the other 15 MCQs. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe to my channel for more videos on the MHT CET. If you have not yet watched our entire playlist on the MHT CET, please watch it. Please watch each and every video. That will be very much helpful to you in your CET. Thank you.